Okay, once again, we are announcing that it is a little past 1:30 p.m. and out of due respect to your investment of your time to come and share these moments, time, and shortly as most other things get themselves together, we will proceed with today's activities. So on behalf of the Smith family and on behalf of all of us, I would like to say welcome and may the ritual of remembrance for and on behalf of Gerard, Robert, Chancellor Smith of the AB Arisecunola, may we all journey peacefully, may we all journey politely, may we all journey with respect for each other's way and approach to dealing with the afterlife, and may all rites of transition be conducted on his behalf so that he might sit in a comfortable place in the great beyond. Thank you very much. Oh. Now you see some of these things that remain on and they'll be just recording all the time. And
I will take it off here.
I take it off there now?
I'll take it off here.
You can take it off there. Yeah. It's off now? Once again, greetings of welcome. First, before we greet the body, we want to play not the hand, but one of the elders in the family coming in now. I'll just open it everywhere. You need water? Yeah, you need water.
What do you want to do?
No, if you need water to get, yeah.
No.
Okay. Are we all ready so that we can proceed now? Here we go, yeah. Here we go, yeah. Here we go, yeah. I have Bo, I have Shaw, I have J, I have Omoni Wesupwell. This is our call to order. I am, from time to time, will speak in a different language. I will try as much as possible to translate or convey the good intent of what is being said. But before making the opening ritual gesture of the reception of the body, I would like to speak under the guidance of our national anthem of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, formerly known as Ile Ananani or Ile Kairi, Ati Ile Alubira. Kairi was one of the names that the First Nation peoples gave to the place where they dwelt, and Alubira was one of the names that the First Nation peoples gave to Tobago when they were autonomous and dwelled here. So, having said these things, we are going to pour some libation, and we are going to welcome the body and spirit to join with us at this moment. So, I would ask those sitting near here with me to please stand. So again, just for the purpose of engagement with what we are doing, I have in this calabash here plain, ordinary water. But no water is really plain and no water is really ordinary. But by the power invested in human beings, both in Orun and in Aye, in heaven and earth, it is I, Ola Kila Masitungi Omo Koreako Sing Tuse Moses, Ati Gloria Virginia Sugra Moses, in the lineages of the Valentines, the Derricks, the Coombs, the Castellan Sugres, the Ewens, the Moses, and all other lineages that I am part of, by the power and authority invested in me in Orun and I now reconsecrate this water and make it as pure and holy as the waters of Odo Happy, Odo Adbara, Odo Zambezi, Odo Limpopo, Odo Luanda, Odo Quilza, Odo Valencia, Odo Homeward, Odo Meridian, Odo Shagwani, and all the sacred rivers of the Americas, north and south, but particularly of Odo Orinoco. May these waters be consecrated. Lo giorno di moro, lo giorno fin, lo giorno alla ieri mia la baraggio, you could say. So as you perhaps can see and can experience, Gerard, Robert, Chancellor Smith, although being a typical Trinidadian, perhaps went in his typical Trinidadianness a bit more further than some of us. He was a panist. I mean, he might have been many other things, but he was a panist, he would have been an information. But Trinidad and Tobago's gift to the world are two with regards to music. And they are both in the realm of iron or steel. And the two items that we have given the world as gift, one is just sometimes it's a triangular piece of iron, but sometimes it's just a straight piece of iron hit with the next piece of iron, and it is called the dantal. But it's iron based. And it is now considered worldwide as a musical instrument. But the other gift that we gave to the world is a more complex gift to the world. It is the steel pan out of which developed into a steel orchestra, and Gerard was one of the pianist or players, person anointed to bring healing music to planet Earth through the steel band. So it is in this light that we begin today's celebration, and I am going to now ask you to join me, those of you who can stand. But before asking you to stand, I would make a proclamation. Whether standing, whether kneeling, whether bowing, whether sitting, may Iwuri be heard and positively responded to. So those of you who can stand, kindly stand. And you know I'm going to have a difficulty with mic all the time, right? Because I don't have nothing to hold up the mic, so, right? So, yeah, I'll give it a part of the area for the opening, right? Right? Anything. So again, just to participate with people, you know, I'll be coming a little closer here now because, you know, although we say every creed and race find equal place, sometimes it's not as easy. If I came Muhammad Rasul, there would hardly be difficult in relation to that. It's funny with myself. But if, for example, I came and I said, Anxious Rex Spirituous, oh, most generation wouldn't come with that, but the old ones would know that they used to open the when and most of the press till they brought mass in English and little missile in English. It used to be said in the holy language of the church that conducted it. And I went to some ritual and they say namaskar and they gather and they bow. Some people they say depend whether you're north or south of a region, right? But whether I say namaste and I recognize divinity in your Ganesh and or I call upon Shiva because passed a while ago, whether it was those things, most of us feel comfortable. In fact, if we had a Thanksgiving and some secret food, they call it, I'll give it some that most of us would be comfortable. But if I killed a fowl in front of my yard and I gave to eat, some of us would feel very uncomfortable. Even though our anthem says here, every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. So I'm going to some more wrong as conversation. Lujo lo final la yel la barajulo. Iba eledu kaya iba lu iba tiojo iba tiborun iba ilaun iba iworun iba riwa iba gusu to ile ife iba nanani iba ile bira iba ile akibulan ile mexam iba isuda la batujo ase iba we salute all relevant authorities both in heaven and earth. We salute the sacred space of Trinidad and the sacred space of Bira, Tobago. Our tradition is that when we are in a place that is not originally ours, before calling upon our own ancestors and upon our own deity, we must first of all pay respects to the Ori Ilewa and the Egu or Egu Ilewa. We must give respects to the spirits of the nations to which we are engaged, and we must give the ancestors the spirits in which we are engaged. And I know some of us have some feeling that ancestors are kind of foreign beings or something to deal with, and must be some kind of spooky thing like some or something like that. If I was in Islam and I was saying my prayer and I was making, I would reach a part in the prayer where I the ancestors of Prophet on him, right? We would invoke his ancestors sometimes rather than ancestors according to what lineage of you are in. But if I was in the Catholic Church, sometimes we start to invoke, to say prayers for the party, and sometimes we might eat things called saints. And these saints were living human beings and this mightn't be the right word for it, but white people have a word they call apotheosis, making a human being higher than a human being. But theo, you know, like as in theocracy means tends to be talking God. So in that sense, you're making a human being a spirit, and Saint Michael or John, although those are other spirits, but it could be Saint Teresa, one of those people who do good somewhere across the globe, and we have no problems with this. So today, we call upon all of our ancestors, those near, those far, those from the Smith lineage, those from all of our lineages, and we ask them to honorably gather with us and humbly gather with us so that that which we do may meet with divine and cosmic support and victory and triumph. May it be so. Ashe. So I'll try to hold the mic down here. So in our midst we have chiefs in Trinidad and Tobago. We have the chief of the divinity that is called the chief of the white cloth, Obatala, the priest of purity. So Obala, let me just give it to you a short word. Yeah. I know it's too far. Yeah, short. I could hold it for you. Yeah. Yeah, look. Now let me go on there. That's that. Right. Yeah, go ahead.
First, I'd like to pay homage to issue. You have to issue over the doors.
I share.
You sit at the crossroads, you have to do all the same passage.
I share.
Jerry was very special for me. I mean, everybody was here. But we all come together, we play next to each other for years and years. And he used to, I am on the priest of the shrine. I think that was Woodbrook. And that place that he frequented. We would sit in the back there and talk and reason and, you know, make jokes and stuff like that. So I'm here to represent that energy of Obatala. I ask that Obatala would continue to bless him. I just want to sing a small song. Baba Furu, Elorere, Okai, Elijibo, Elirifai, Basi, Basa, Ojibo, Rick, Basi, Pao, Inuaye, Yawa, Lara, Eseka, Inuaye, Inuaye, Baba, Inuaye, Inuaye, Baba, Obatala, Wini Sekure, Paul Line, Asere,
Ashe.
Jerry, travel safe, Baba. All the doors and all the entrances that you'll have to go through, I ask that the ancestors will be there to usher you in. You have lived a good life. I mean, I never get away with Jerry, you know. We have different, you know Jerry, everybody here who knows Jerry, you know, he's very articulate and he's very particular, you know. So we would have not misunderstanding, no, but differences. But we never quarrel. We never say a bad word to each other. Even up to his last moments, we were still in love with each other. You know. So I continue to ask that good things would happen for him as he travels, that his ancestors will be there to receive him. And I want to say to the family, hold on. He's going to be with you all the time. Every time you think about it, he's right there. So just hold on. You have to love, you have to love. Obatarisha, Obatakutakolo de Iranje. So you get the bed, you know. Baba Rubo, so me the Ru, so me the Babana. Ashe.
So, yes, Joko, sit kindly. Thank you. I hope it wasn't too long for anybody. So I'm going to really proceed at a pace that I mightn't be always able to use the mic too much. You know, most people, when they invite us as Orisha elders to say a prayer, they expect that we will come and hold our hands like this, or just make a signature in the air, and that is prayer. But prayer for us is a very proactive and engaging activity, whereby the items that we use, there is a symbolic, and that word symbolic, as I say to you, may not express the full meaning of symbolic. There is somebody who wrote a book called Symbol and the Symbolic, with regards to rituals and regards to items and gestures in Al-Kibulan, meaning the continent of Africa, and how that works. So red is symbolic of meaning stop in the red, yellow and green traffic light system. When red comes on, it has no force to stop you. You must agree that you will stop because red symbolizes red. But in our Kibulani system, if that red means stop, you could want to go. Once it turns on, you have to stop. That is the difference between symbolic and the symbol is going to emanate something you have to stop. So I'm going to break one of the most important items here in any Yoruba and West African sacred science practice. It is called Obi. So this one is called Cola Acuminator for anybody who have a further interest, and we should have a further interest because we will progress as a people and as a nation when we know a little more about ourselves. So most spiritualities speak about an after, but in the one that is particularly dominant from the colonial period to now, Christianity, and that Christianity manifests in many forms, it speaks that a time will come, according to their book, when all the peoples, no matter how far that they are scattered, they will be gathered and brought back under their own fig tree. So I suspect that quite a lot of the action that would take place during that gathering period would have to do with mores, laws, and tradition. So some of the things that we do, so for example in Old Testament, and some people believe that the Old Testament rituals have been wiped away and washed away. I'm not a Christian, so I can't speak with authority on that. What I can do, I can quote perhaps one of the principles of the Christian faith, who said that he did not come to wipe away those old things, to fulfill laws and mores and to fulfill the prophets and the traditions. So if they used to gather on a Saturday, it says that he went to gathering, whether it was a Friday, Saturday or Sunday, he went to gathering. If they used to speak outside to people, he did those things as well. And he observed the laws, mores and traditions that the people did. So in Yoruba tradition, this kola, this is not the one, most people has OBC, but this is not the one most of you are familiar with. The one you are familiar with breaks into two pieces. This one breaks into 4 loops. And I'm going to break that, but I'm going to say the Iwuri or prayer with it. It is Kolana that said that it will die that human beings will live. And if you want to participate with me, instead of saying amen, you could say Asher. It is Kolana that said that it will die that human beings will live. It is Kolana that said that it will die, that it will remove poverty so that prosperity will come. It is Kolana that said that it will die to remove discord, to bring accord in our communities. It is Kolana or Obi that said that it will die to remove all negativity so that all positivity may come to us. So as we break this Kolana, I asperge it of all ritual and ceremonial and cleanliness. I dismember this and send this to where it can do no harm. Let light, love, peace, beneficence, benevolence, and all good things come to us. It's not easy for me to operate that way, right? But I suppose the school and not of all ritual. No, if you want to. I here is school and not, earth here is school and not. Hills here is school and not, valley here is school and not. The iron radical of is not meant for human beings. We break kola nut to avoid death and to bring life. As we break this kola nut, we remove all form of negativity. We just remember and dismantle these and send us to where it can do no harm. But where there is eerie and blessings and ashe and authority coming to us, go now and meet it and bring it along the straight, clear and unimpeded path. Wherever there is discord, disharmony, ailment, sickness, any manner of negativity, go now and remove this, dismember and dismantle it and send it to where it can do no harm. But where there is eerie and ashy authority and blessings and goodness coming to us. Go now and meet it and bring it along the straight, clear, and unimpeded path. Obi lofe, obi rere. Obi lofe, obi rere. Obi lofe, obi rere. So we give thanks. So the first item that we are given is Obi seed. And all prayers in Yoruba tradition, we have to use Obi. In fact, when we complete a prayer, you know, the older Catholics in this country might know things like novena and might know other types of prayers. So there are some prayers that are engaged over a period of time, and after a period of time, you can gauge the result of your prayer by whatever manifests or by whatever happens. So you went to St. Anthony, if he was a person to make you get a job. You carry a candle and some olive oil up Mount St. Benedict or some other place, and you said some prayers. And after that you applied for a job and then you got through with the job, then you know that the prayer was answered, right? But then you went to now do magic. And what do I mean by magic? By magic I mean somebody doing something that is not what will give you the result that you're looking for in the mundane and physical plane. So your child didn't study 62 contact hours to write the exam, but you wanted your child to pass the exam, so you kept a puja, you kept a prayer for the child 3 days before, and then the child was kind of done in school, and the child went to the exam, and voila, the child passed exam. That's a kind of magic, right? But while according to that, it means it's divine intervention. Prayer was offered, prayer was heard, prayer was accepted, and prayer was responded to. So in our system, we use a lot of these items, and the prayer is lifted up on Obi seed, and Obi seed is not anything that will hurt anybody. It is known in Trinidad as we say Obi seed, but we know it as cola nut, and anybody who made morbi or made cake and you use cola essence, well, you would have used some cola nut as part of the essence, and therefore, if you are still alive today, it means it's not so bad, right? And there used to be a popular drink a long time called Coca-Cola. And I suspect most people know what Coca is. Coca is the thing that is from cocaine is derived. And it was a big and popular drink all over the world. It was a combination of Coca and Cola that made the thing so good. And you know what people used to say a long time, if you eat Obi when you're drinking, you wouldn't get drunk so easily. So it is a very good thing in terms of if you don't want to get drunk quick, choose some Obi or choose some cola and drink, and then it would prolong your capacity to remain sane on this plane and act wisely. So what are we about to do now? We are about to engage in some rituals. And again, this environment is generally a challenging environment because here I am speaking in a foreign language to you. And when I say a foreign language, I don't necessarily mean the Yoruba we speak in. The paradigm of thought in which we do some kind of thing and then we expect, in fact, in Yoruba sacred science practice, it is basically based upon call and response. So if you ever went to a feast in Trinidad and the person says, Ogun la 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 uele, Ogun la la mode, everybody would answer, Ogun la 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 uele, Ogun la la adanijo, Ogun la la. So you see, even here, it doesn't appear that we might know how to answer it. But I don't ever judge books by the cover, so I know that that might be deceptive when I'm not hearing any answer, right? Okay, so we go forward. So we are going to release some elements of the body. We all know that the human body, as it is comprised, is basically composed of earth, air, fire, and water. And how does a person become pronounced as dead? Maybe in truth and in fact, the first thing that allows you to know that you are dead is your heart stops beating. But when your heart stops beating, you know, those of you who know how, if somebody drunk, you could do a cardiac procedure and get their heart to beat once again, and then they will start to breathe. And so one of the things that says that you are dead is when you are starved of oxygen, which is the life force of the air in the system, and you could no longer perform your facilities. So we are going to release by ritual gesture and action now the element air. By the power and authority vested in me and Uruna and I release the element of air. 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 I'll work it out here. So we release the element of air. Now, should there be a need, should there be a need to repeat this while we go to the cemetery, we will repeat it, but we wouldn't repeat it where it would be long like this. We would just do all of it at one spot, because what we normally do is in the ingoing procession, the coffin is rest down at 4 stations, so to speak, and at those 4 stations, again, we ask the elements to free itself from the body. And I'm not going to try to stay too long because I know it's a little alien to us, but really and truly, it is my responsibility while I am here to try and make everything that I do understood by you, to make it plain. So I greet the family of Gerard Smith, his mother, who I understand she is okay. But I know they was calling this lady Mommy last time, right? Okay, so I greet the brother, I greet the other family that came from abroad, and the wife and his children, and all others who have come here. So we are going to release these 4 elements. I'm going to ask some of the other people to release one of the elements for me. So give her the water for me now. Let her just throw a little water and release the element of water. Just release water by the power invested in you at Umi Alarabo. Umi Alarabo. Umi Alarabo. Umi Alarabo. Bashe.
That's Bashe. Umi.
Yeah.
Bashe, Umi. Umi water.
Ashe.
Earth.
Ashe.
Earth, wind, water, and fire.
Ashe.
Right?
Ashe. 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 Earth. Just release the earth. The earth. Just release earth from them. Only le agbewo. Only le agbewo. Only le agbewo. Akio. 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 Only le. You who is the incarnation of the light in our planet, we release you from the active engagement in the corporal body of Gerard Robert Smith, Charleston Smith. Ask the divine celestial intelligences to engage this. Fire. Kabiyesi. 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 Etala majuba gadagba majuba. 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 Etala majuba dagba majuba. Etala majuba gadagba 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 majuba. Ashe. So we see your ritual number of times. Kabiyesi. You are the Lord of thunder and lightning, but electrical fire as well. So by the sparks of electrical fire that ignited in the synapses of the human corporal body that continue to bring life to that body, at this moment, we give thanks that you worked in fullness during the course of the life of Gerard Robert Charleston Smith, and by the power and authority invested in Chancellor Smith, and by the power and authority invested in us both in Orun and in Aye, we ask the divine celestial intelligences to take note of these. Ashe. Okay. Okay, so we have a number of substances that we would use. Now, in our tradition, we believe that at least there are 5 rituals of rites of passage. And at these 5 rites of passage, rituals of this nature are done. One is at birth. When a child is born, even in the ordinary tradition, we have a big celebration that the child is born. And in Trinidad, previous years ago, when we were under more or less Christianity and Roman Catholicism in particular, they used to have a christening ceremony, which an important thing would happen to the child. The child would be invested with a name. So while the name was invested in the child, in the place of birth, in the nursing home, in the bedroom, because we used to have midwives delivering, then they would now look upon a chart, which was generally some day of saints in the Catholic Church, but for Hindus will know a little better. In fact, for many Hindus, they would have gone to the pundit or pandita long before they even had intercourse. And dependent on what they were looking for, they would have been advised of a most auspicious time in which to engage that intercourse to get the child that will fulfill the destiny that they desired to have fulfilled on earth. It's not no different even in the days from when the Christ figure, for those who are accustomed to that figure, was born, because people were looking for some certain auspicious thing. And in fact, we are told in a particular story that he went to a river and some dove descended from another place as a signal that that was some man, some kind of importance to lead people into a particular direction. So signs and understanding of appropriate moments are important. So during this ritual here, there are some things that we would have used in life that are important. So among the things that I'm going to put several things into a small plate here. These rituals would have taken perhaps even longer than this. And in fact, in the best way of doing it, 2 of these items would have been done by people of the First Nations people, either Warao or Karina, Arawak, as some people might say, but some people just know them as Warahun and Caribs, right? So the items that we are going to use here are white sage and agbado, or corn. But the corn, instead of it being whole, for the purpose of this, it is grind as cornmeal. So we are going to give those 2 substances now. It would usually be passed through fire for these rituals, but because it is not the most convenient thing to do here, we are all just going to do it here at the moment. So we are going to put these items here. Or bala. Just put it inside here. Yeah. Agbadulofe, Agbadurere, Agbadulofe, Agbadurere. Yeah. Agbadulofe, Agbadurere, Agbadulofe, Agbadurere, Agbadulofe, Agbadurere, Agbadulofe, Agbadurere, Agbadulofe, Agbadurere, Agbadulofe, Agbadurere. That's it. That's it. So we have given white sage and we have given corn. Corn is a substance that I suspect most of the Christians are familiar with. In Christian theology, the solar figure or the Christ figure, the Son of God, it was expected to die on behalf of human beings on earth. But one of the great miracles that he was expected to have was that on the 3rd day again he would rise. Most of us may not realize that as an agrarian principle, that when you plant corn, in 3 days it is supposed to germinate, symbolizing that the corn seed that is looking like that's the end of life, it was in truth and in fact potential for life at another level of engagement when the correct conditions were met so that that could germinate. So we have placed agado and we have placed sage, which is a bush that cleanses the atmosphere. So today you know, the nice thing about today's world, and I don't know if it's really nice, but some things we would have had simple words for, they have nice big words and they sound more important. So the sage would have been a fumigant, and it was a type of fumigation that is taking place, and that fumigation would be like your current day sanitizing concept, that you come into a space, you sanitize yourself. Even in the old churches of yesterday in Trinidad and Tobago, before you enter the church, you would meet a little bowl called a font, and it would have water, and the water was consecrated by the priest, and you dipped your hand in the water and you made a signature, and when you made that signature, most of you perhaps didn't want to know what it meant, but it meant that you were now clean and purified to enter into the holy places, because you were in front of the tabernacle where the body of God or the body of Christ dwelt in the form of the Eucharist. So we are familiar with these things, but we're not familiar with it many times with an explanation. And today when we meet it with explanation and when it looks very ritualistic, we sing that. So I'm going to try to sing some song, because normally we would have, and I will not sing it long because some of us can't sing it with me, right? So I'll just sing this one by myself first, is to represent water. Yemoja o, awo yo yami lami mera o, ye olokun, awo yo yami lami mera o, ibu asesu olomidara, ibu asaba olomidara, yemoja olokun mo fori balẹ̀, ìyá mi bínú, èmi àmà bí kìtì lóroṣù, ìyá mi bínú, èmi àmà bí kìtì lóroṣù, mosito, inala ṣe como yokoto, mosito, inala ṣe como yokoto. Olokun, and again the modern world affords us the opportunity for quick reference by going on the internet and asking what is this and what is that. Olokun is the divinity of the Atlantic Ocean. This is one way of describing it, but it is a divinity of primordial waters. And again, this is not a strange concept. Those of us who are familiar with Bible says that in the beginning the world was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the earth, but there was some primordial water, and out of that some voice or something or some being or some spirit commanded, let there be light, and there was light, and day and night and had cross planets came into being, and light was brought in a series of days with different life forms coming, in which man, Homo sapiens sapiens, was the last of that in the creation. And even though he was last, and according to that description in that book, he was lower than the angels, yet the angels were asked to bow before man. If we could really imagine the beauty of what we hear in that, we would recognize that man, human being, people like Gerard Smith had much power upon the face of the earth. You have much power upon the face of the earth. Where oppression is taking place upon planet Earth, where we are being forced by other narratives made by only one group of people on planet Earth. If you have Ayurvedic medicine and you say that that could cure the current COVID, they say no, you have to take a special vaccine made by capitalist-oriented medicinal system to be able to get that. So human beings can, in truth and in fact, once they recognize the divine authority that resides within us, we can change the destiny of our lives and ourselves. As we make all of these ritual gestures, as we make all of these explanations here, may Gerard Robert Chancellor Smith be elevated and taken to the space and place where he is deserving. One of the older books of transitional rites is called the Egyptian Book of the Dead, when it is translated by Wallace Budge. But it is also called the Book of Coming Forth by Day and by Night. It is a book of transition, how we go into the afterlife. And you know, most people, again, when we say these things, we sound like if it's some kind of obeah or assembly meeting we're thinking about. Most people know when we say these things in Trinidad and Tobago, after you are buried, the deceased, the person who had left, could come in a dream and instruct the family that things are not all right with me. And long time they used to have something called a requiem mass on behalf of the person. Then a year after, a certain period of time after, when that being, that spirit soul being that had left the body had gone through a certain amount of transformation, then they have a ceremony for it. So all of these things here are done with the sincere understanding, with the sincere knowledge that actions of human beings acting for and on behalf of others can assist. But then there is something called arriving at the place of the judgment hall. What we used to do in the old days, there would be the recitation of the 42 negative confessions. This has been condensed and came to us in what we know today as the 10 Commandments. And why we are called negative confession, thou shalt not. You are negated what you, thou shalt not steal, shall not lie, shall not, whatever thou shalt not do. But we had 42 of them that we used in ancient Kemet way before the birth of Jesus Christ. And Gerard, in his pursuit of eternal life and eternal knowledge and eternal truth, embraced one of the gateways and one of the pathways that would have led him to accept a redefinition of some of the paradigms that we once engaged in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. And through our sincerity here with him and engaging with him in spirit at the moment, we are asking that whatsoever we do here be accepted in the heavenly realm. We also have the items atari, which most of you know as guinea pepper. And again, you can't see it too good, but it comes in a pod like this. That pod biologically is a womb. And inside of there, it's like this sometimes. It's a womb, and inside it are pretty fine seeds. And it's sometimes called alligator pepper. It is used during rituals. Sometimes we chew it up to empower whatever we are saying or doing, so that our iwuri, our prayers or commands will be better accepted in the next world. So it represents fertility, and we therefore ask that that is here, that it be, take all the atari there and just put it inside the bowl, please. Yeah. No, up front here, right up. Here, just put it in that yeah, empty it, yeah. So as we give up this atari, we ask that all the representations of fertility not only manifest for him in the afterworld where he is going, but also for his family in the present world. We pray for fertility of good thoughts, good words, good deeds, good relationships, good friendship, good understanding, and all the things that would engage happiness in your current lifetime and in the lifetime of your children, forever and ever into eternity. Okay, so we go to the other item here now, and again, we would make this again to a gate master. So this is for Eshu, Laldu, all the things here. We invoke Ositura, we invoke Ositura, we invoke Ositura. Ositurak Bevo, Ositurak Bevo, Ositurak Bevo. Epo Pupa Lofe, Epo Pupa Evo. Epo Pupa Lofe, Epo Pupa Reve. Epo Pupa Lofe, Epo Pupa Reve. Here is Epo Pupa. Come and receive of this Epo Pupa. Come and receive of this Epo Pupa. Come and receive of this Epo Pupa. But there were other items that are here that are to go into the afterworld or to depart with Gerard when he is going here. Here are some of these items here. Come and receive it all. Urukbu. Urukbu is the symbol of longevity. Urukbu is the symbol of longevity. Urukbu is the symbol of longevity. The story of Urukbu says that Urukbu, when you plant it, it takes at least 60 or 70 years before it bears. But when it bears continuously. Be longevity in the life of the children and the children of Gerard Robert Chancellor Smith and all of his family members. Let me just touch your hand. Heads. You want to put this to me? Longevity. Just put it in your bowl for me. Yeah. And finally, I'm going to cut plenty things short, right? Because I seen it a kind of, it's a little thing because you can't answer me back, you know what I mean? It's always be strenuous to me. And even if I could try to make it spicy by singing a song, I do have drummers and it's a little difficult to sing. But it's responsibility, and where there is love, there is nothing hard to do where love is manifest. No matter how hard anything might look for any of us, where there is love, we would engage this with patience. Even you're not understanding a paradigm of yourself. You know, yesterday many of us didn't want to accept that we are Al-Kibulanis or African people. Some people that prefer to be, well, most of us didn't like to be called nigger, but we prefer to be called Negro, or we prefer to be called black. But today, sometimes you don't even have that choice. When you have to pull out some form, they put as one of the choices whether you have African descent, right? So, a system, the same system that has oppressed us, have caused us to recognize that we belong to a world family group. Whoever Homo sapiens, sapiens predecessor is, one of the old forms of relics and bone remains was found. One of the earlier ones that they started with was found in the Olduvai Gorge in more or less central east Altibulan, Africa, and the other one, Lucy, was found in Ethiopia. So most of the, I'm not saying that those are that is what you have. God was formed, human beings was formed by God and by spirit beings commanding the combination of the elements that we would have living beings. But if it is that people believe that we evolved from some kind of thing, and you think that that is the way by carbon dating that you can discover the oldest person on earth, then by using that methodology of carbon dating, we are the oldest people upon this planet. May Eledumare guide a son of the old peoples who have given the world light and civilization, who have given the world medicine, writing, mathematics, information technology. Some people might know. Now, you know, when Moses had to read something, you know, many in the old people, one of the first people that was writing upon planet Earth, and there's still evidence of that writing, whether it was called hieroglyphics or pictographs, those emblems that symbolize songs, and songs combined that symbolize words are still there in Egypt today, and you can read them and interpret them. So while most people were only communicating orally by their mouth, we were already writing and passing on information gathered in ancient Al-Kibulan long before we met Euro-Asiatic people. So, in the name of Eledumare, may the ancestors of Gerard Smith, who gave to the world all of these things, may those ancestors continue to empower him in the world beyond. So, I'm going to say one other important thing here. When Gerard became an initiate of the system, he was given a birth in Udu. He was visiting planet Earth, and he was visiting in it ritually. But normally in traditional Africa, 3 days after, especially in Yoruba land, 3 days after you are born, some dust is placed on a board like this, a bigger one, and there is a dust inside here, and they imprint a symbol that is like a stargate that has impact upon your destiny. But when you are going back outside here, we also do a reading, and the reading that came for him, I'm saying it publicly because it is not any secret or anything, it's called Idiotura. And the Udu actually reads, when you see the judgment, and I share all of this with the family, it reads that this person left the earth as a result of health and dietary condition. And that there might be other things, but definitely we know that those were issues involved. And it also said that as he is leaving, there might be some difficulties as whatever is going to happen in the family life, and it suggests that he has another family called the Abi Arishekonola, and that they should do some right so that there will be harmony in the family life. So those are the things that I would say for now, and I'm going to quickly move to the opening of the orifices. And by the time we are going, I was told that I can take 2 hours. I was told I could take 2 hours. It's less than 2 hours. I start at 10 to. It's almost 10 to the next hour now. So this is called the instrument of opening the orifices. So I'm going to need to open this box here for a little while. So just come and stand around with me, please. Stand around. You could pull the clip. Stand around. Yeah. Every other you could sit, you know, every other sit. Yeah. You could sit too, right? Shake 'em, shake 'em, need to rule, need to rule, shake 'em, shake 'em, shake 'em, shake 'em, need to rule, need to rule, shake 'em, shake 'em, shake 'em, shake 'em. What poo and poo. Eshodara poo. Bogborisha, il est ici poo. Bogborisha, il est à Tibulan poo. Asher. We may say. Family members, if you would come 1 minute, please. The family members. So, Obala, you could come and stand up with them for yeah, we went right by here. Let's see if you could open that there for me, please. His brother. Brother, would you want to participate here with us, please? Any other person who is from there who needs to participate? Thank you for all of your enthusiastic encouragement while I was along. So, in this system here, this comes like you're going on a train ride. On the train ride, you could have $1 million in your pocket, but you do have a token to open the gate. If you enter trying to think that the money will save you, you will be breaking the law. And if you try to push down in your pocket to pay, the guard might hit you some butu because cameras filming you. This is the symbolic money for opening the gate on his behalf. But he might need to buy something over there to eat and drink. So I'm going to give everybody some of these. Yeah, I have enough. And some of these, right? So.
These are sleep, Jabari.
Yeah. Bring him. Yeah. His mom want to make sure that he's here. So, who you was Jabari's mother? So you see the small one, like I know it was for Jabari, right? Right. So you always just stand around around. Oh, sorry. Yeah, step this a little back from me, please. Stand around the cup. Stand around a little, and in your own way, your own evil way that you would want. And when you're through, put the money inside. That is money, right? Put the money inside here on his behalf. So, you know, you all could just link with each other, just make sure that everybody cannot touch each other for a while. So you could come more this way here so that we could kind of shield them in a way too. Yeah. Come between here. Yeah. I share. So I'm going to do a Gugu song, huh? Wole Gugu wole wa, wole Gugu wole wa, wole Gugu wole wa, wole wa, wole Gugu wole wa, wole wa Gugu wole wa, wole Gugu wole wa, wole wa, wole wa Gugu wole wa, wole wa Gugu wole wa, wole Gugu wole wa, wole wa, wole wa Gugu wole wa, wole wa Gugu wole wa, wole wa Gugu wole wa, wole wole wa Gugu wole wa, wole wa Gugu wole wa, wole wa Gugu wole wa, wole wa, wole Gugu wole wa, wole Gugu wole wa, wole wa Gugu wole wa, wole wa, wole wa Gugu wole wa, wole wa Gugu wole wa, wole wa Gugu wole wa, wole wa. I do pray. Let it be so. Let it be so. We will be strengthened. We shall be comforted. Now that Gerard has left this earth plane, we do all things to assist him in sitting properly. Spiritual plane, whensoever we need his support, his guidance, his counsel, his wisdom, and his defensive action, he would be ready to give it for us. May it be so. May it be so. May it be so. I say, I do pray. I do pray. Yeah. So, according to the program that we have now, we are now at 2:48. So we just under an hour from when we started. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. So according to the program now, we are going to go into eulogy. I don't have a name there. But the eulogy is going to be brought by a member of the household, right? Eulogy? So, while they're coming up. Arauki Juba, Arauki, Arauki. Arauki, Ajuba, Arau, Ajuba, Arauki, Ajuba, Ara. Ogade! Arauki, Ajuba, Arauki, Alao, Arauki, Ajuba, Arauki. Gunde Ajuba Chimboleo, Gunde Ajuba Chimbo, Gunde Ajuba Chimboleo.
Good day, everybody.
Present day.
Smith was born Friday, 13th of 1960. His parents were Lewis and Wilfred Smith.
Hashem.
My father was the eldest of three, and my mother was a professor and a state paper today.
You all hearing me? Yeah. Okay, so anyone that knew my father
also knew that a proud Tunapuna man, and his family was well known and very large. Gerard was the first child on his mother's side, so you know what that meant. He was extremely spoiled and doted on by his aunts and uncles. While he was young, he furthered his studies.
To afford their kids better Trinidadians at the time. While away, Gerard was left in the loving care of his dear auntie Norma, the mother to him.
And his children. Auntie Norma loved him dearly, even after, at the age of 8, curiosity won, and after some observations, little Jerry and no major damages unless from the cocktail he received. After a while, it was finally time for him to be reunited with his family. So by many, out on a plane across the ocean to England, where he attended primary school. Boom, culture shock. As it turned out, much surprise, people with his skin color was in the minority. He often spoke about how they touched him to see if the color would come off, or how the little palm-colored boy, who called him a monkey, said he probably lived in trees. It was these type of experiences that made him see importance of his African ancestry and drove him to educate himself further about everything and everything around him. After some years in England, the family returned to Trinidad, where he attended school at St. Mary's College. There, he both excelled academically and also in sports. He loved track and field and held the record for high jump in the school even after leaving. He fondly spoke of his experiences there with glowing eyes. He recalled to Mommy about the time with school teacher when they got a new school teacher close to their age to teach the class, and he received a dare from his classmates to kiss the teacher, and of course, being daddy, he took the dare. Different times, so no consequences. And there were many occasions where
would get into the sacrificial wine chapel, or the time when the teacher was being unreasonable, so they said, where to prove a point to the teacher, his classmates, teacher's small mini car from where it was parked in the car park and placed it in the school corridor. Of course, nobody knew how the car reached there, right? My father also had a great love for football, always playing small goal while residing in Belmont, and had a deep connection to music. He loved jazz and was a member of Birdsong, the Birdsong Panside, Fascinators, and of course Face to Groove at one time. After leaving CIC, he eventually went along with his journey on this plane to pursue a career in medicine at Howard University. While being extremely smart, he recognized that something was missing and that it was not his passion. He eventually withdrew from the program to explore his interest in IT. He went to look at several organizations, gaining skills to his expertise in the field of IT. This included organizations like ADB and Command Systems, IBM, and Bank, where he would spend at least 7 years. Gerard was independent, living on his own at an early age. After some time in his hometown, Tunapuna,
his spirit was calling him somewhere else. In the beautiful land called Belmont, he would end up renting a apartment from a lady on Car Street. This said lady turned landlord, who had a daughter named Tian, who had a friend living nearby, frequently visited by the name of Charmaine Batiste. So they met, started talking, became friends, as she was already taken. But as life has shown everyone in this room time and time again, nothing lasts forever. And eventually, an opportunity presented itself, and well, we know Daddy, he wasn't going to take a chance. Mind you, this was no chance they were related. Why was this a cause for concern? Because he had enough times where he would start to date girls while living in Tunapuna, and then one of his uncles, boy, that is your cousin, bringing Scrunter song to mind. So he had a policy of dating girls from Tunapuna. Over time, the couple bonded over their love of reading horror stories from Stephen King and Dean Koontz, watching Kick Up at every eventually decided to take the next step and got married on Friday the 15th of September 1989. They had 4 kids, even though the initial goal was 7. Women by families stopped those thoughts in their tracks. A few days before his wife's birthday, a beautiful bundle of joy was born, which they named Ifeoma, the oldest and shortest. After came Chigozie, the boy, Fiola, the drama queen, and Ife, the quiet one. Also got King Jabari, the grandson who loved assisting his grandpa in the harder time, holding his hand to maneuver around the house whenever he needed. Or sometimes just for the moment. One of Daddy's sayings was, Yoruba faith. He would become involved in Egbe, Unison, Dumare, and initiated into the faith. Gerard Smith loved to debate about many little topics, loved getting into political debates, and was very well read on various topics. His mind was one of the main things that drew Mommy to him, and of course it would help that he was extremely charming, mentioned handsome. Physicals aside, he valued honesty above everything. Love for family, he loved his children and often worried about their future. He wanted to ensure that we would become valued members of society by giving up opportunities to learn about ourselves by respecting others. We do not live in our world by ourselves, so treat others how you would like to be treated. Show love and kindness from all from the planet straight up. Those were things he said, and that is something which is permanently in our hearts. He had a love-filled life because he was a man of love. Love a few of the memories I shall keep close. Even when, though he is no longer with us, he will forever live on in our hearts. Thank you.
Yes, so there you have heard our daughters reminiscing of the good qualities of her father as he traversed the earth. Egbe Onisiere Dumare, which is the organization I am the Uluwo or chief priest of, we were birthed in 1971. And to put that in check, it was just after 1970. So just after 1970, it means that Black power and Al-Kibulan and African consciousness and the role of the main racial groups in Trinidad and Tobago, the Africans and the Indians, and main only in terms of number, because remember we are technically trespassing here on borrowed land. A fellow by the name of Cristobal Cole found a place he was looking to up some ships that had some hole. He had a pitch lake here, and after a while they planted a flag here, and Trinidad was born. So we give thanks for that beautiful reminiscence of the dignity and of the spirit of your father to not only desire the good things for himself, but to actually pursue it by way of an educational path and an intelligent path. So our dear parties, I mean, we don't have people by name that would want to give us remembrance of Gerard Smith. Now, not everybody might remember at the night, but what we were trying to do is recount some of his character at this moment. So, but anyone who come up and say a few words, come to say something, please.
Nigel, brother, young brother, Is that right? Okay. So yeah, so my brother is a real character, a character and a spirit to hold. Alright? I love my brother and admired him greatly. He achieved things I knew that I would not achieve myself simply because he was a natural. He was just a plain natural. Can you hear me alright now? Okay. Before Jerry was 15, he was doing maths with London University undergraduate engineering students. I wasn't going to be able to do that. From maths to music, from funkadelic to steel pan, talents, and you can really turn a pot. Anybody who knows Jerry can turn a pot. It's just a natural. And as everybody knows, Jerry also had a gift for the mouth. He can real talk. He can real debate. You know the history, you know the contemporary, you know real thing. And listen now, he always ready to debate with you now. But they're not ready. You ready? You understand? And I really would miss him. Miss hearing him lovingly of his family, his wife. When we put to hook up. I just want to
Yeah. That's it? Okay. So the unspoken words that have not been uttered in our presence here may be recorded by the divine celestial recorders who are recording what has been said and how it has been said. So are there any other persons to make contributions? Alright. So I wonder if I could indulge you all to answer 2 words from here. I would say, Ye moja juwe ikoko. Yeah, you can say that from here? Ye moja juwe ikoko. Korea, Korea. Ye moja juwe ikoko. Korea, Korea. Ye moja juwe ikoko. Korea, Korea. Ye moja juwe ikoko. Korea, Korea, ye moja juwe koko. Korea, Korea, ye moja juwe koko. Korea, Korea, super. You try to get right, but trying to see a hug now. Moja ye moja sabla moja sabla moja sabla moja ye moja sabla ye moja sabla ye moja sabla ye kemiyo ye moja dewa akbawa Eke miyo ye moja dewa awa ye moja de Eke miyo ye moja dewa akbawa ye moja kemi awa yo kemi awo yo awa yo ye moja kemiyo awa yo ye moja kemiyo awa yo ye moja kemiyo awa yo adupe. So at this point we would want to do a prayer to close off this part of the ritual. Now you know a lot of things is that sometimes people really do understand that it has space and space now. I think one thing that COVID did for us is that COVID made us understand that, you know, this idea of washing hands and all of those things. We used to do plenty of things at Trinbagonians, you know, and we never appreciate it. Long time when they didn't have plenty of water. I grew up in Laventry, you know, some people when they watch a kind of white man like me now, you know, they find out looking like a white man, right? They can't believe that I grew up in Laventry. I grew up to next door to one of the best world. Just the artist, Rhea Poland, Sheila Boy Quinton. I grew up next to that kind of tradition. When this time of the year come dry season, fellas coming around selling with the windmill business thing, but all this time on a weekend, wrestling in the pit, right? So, but long time when we didn't have plenty of water, we used to do a thing as a kind of a spurging. We couldn't go to bed in the night unless we wash our feet, right? You dare not go on my grandmother's bed to sleep unless you wash your feet. They used to have, but we used to call that ritual washing off. You had a basin of water And if you go in a Islam and a mosque today, you would see the very same thing. We start to wash our face. We start to wash our hands up to here. And we start to wash with foot up to our knee at least. But if you go to an Islamic place today, you see they're doing that same ritual, but you don't take it, at that time we just washing off. So even our parents, even where they did not speak spirituality the way we do, they knew that it had spirituality. They would hardly go to where there was death and go and visit a sick person. When they left the cemetery, they would hardly go in the house by the face first. They would always turn back to table plaque. When Old Year's night come, a lot of them used to come and say some kind of thing, and the year ahead would be good for them. So we knew real obia before we wanted to make obia something bad. We know that real good and obia is nothing bad. It is how you engage the current moment with a faith and a knowledge to engage in processes of shaping a future and make the future what you destined it to be. So I thank everyone for this moment, and I would just ask everyone to stand and we would say a song, and we would say a closing prayer, right? At this point though, I think some people will, after we do this, some people would like to look at the body here. Yes? Okay, so if they, so we will just raise it and they would go in a anti-clockwise direction, yeah, so that we could all move it in order. So it goes Awa usuru ilewa o Awa usuru ilewa o Awa usuru ilewa o Awa usuru ilewa o Oye Kanko pwe kawa masuru awa usuru ilewa o wa usuru ilewa o awa usuru ilewa o imade kupwe o imade kupwe kama masuru awa usuru ilewa o awa usuru ilewa o ibagwe usuru awa usuru ilewa o. It translates, we shall fulfill our traditional rights. We shall fulfill our traditional rights. Zoroastrianism, Hinduism, no philosophy, no theology shall prevent us from fulfilling our traditional rights. We shall fulfill our traditional rights. We shall fulfill our traditional rights. We shall fulfill our traditional rights. In the name of Uncle in the name of Ngai, in the name of in the name of Nukpuknuk, in the name of Chuku, in the name of Maurisa, in the name of Elohim, in the name of Allah Subhanahu, in the name of Krishna, in the name of you, in the name of Tamushi, in the name of Tamushi, in the name of all of the nomenclature that means supreme power, love, supreme authority. We bring this ritual of remembrance for and on behalf of Gerard, Robert, Chancellor Smith to a close in this prayer. But this is not the end. That, according to some people, is the meeting at the Divine Hall where he is going to give testimony of his life, and at that point we might be able to Judgment Hall, where his heart will be weighed against the feather of truth. He will be the only one that will be able to account for himself. But from all that has been said here today, he didn't have a life that was based upon wicked, adventurous life. He might have been playful in some ways. He might have been, go beyond some of the norms in plenty ways. But at the end of the day, all his intentions from what we have recounted here was for the good of his home, the good of his family, the good of his community. May the divine celestial intelligences that see, record, and will present all that they have seen and recorded in the judgment hall. May they have recorded in his favor. And when the time of judgment arrives, may he be not found wanting. May wrath triumph over Apep, and may he sit among those who are called the triumphant. It shall and will be so. I say. The box will be opened, and those who would want to go into viewing, where you can do so. I think we have about 30 minutes, 20 minutes. Yeah, so we have some time we could just. Yeah, thanks. Before they go. That's not. Okay. Okay, so as some people are filtering out, they us to know that before we go to the burial site, there are snacks, some things you can partake over on the funeral house, right? In the funeral house, so please partake in it. It's like even a kind of communion as well. So, you know, maybe just drink a little water, drink a little, but eat something too, because we would want Gerard to eat and drink in. So we didn't, you see, that we give me pepper in abundance way, right? You will use it? So this is one that, yeah, I think there's one still there. Oh no. Oh, this could be, so one thing you could keep that if you will use it. It's good for all kind of thing, right? It's a belch and all kind of gas, and, you know. But people say that it's good to make your dog bad and to mistake with your neighbor. So we giving him some of these to go. You put coins in?
Yeah, what do you do this time?
Oh, you put that to open, man. Yeah, it's a little piece of paper. Look, you know what we did, hello. Yeah, I did. Anybody or room have you bow? Anybody or room have you bow?
But I really heavy, so.
Oh, me choo choo, me choo 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 choo, boy, choo 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 on a choo 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 la roye choo choo agbero pakosi ofo pakosi lina pakosi fitiboni pakosi everyone pakosi ibi pakosi olopa ariku babawa ariku babawa ariku babawa Only Silekun pour Gerard Smith. Only Silekun pour Gerard Smith. Only Silekun pour Gerard Smith. Hey, Gunde, Ajuba Timbole. Oh, where are they going on top here? Hey, Gunde, Ajuba Timbole. Hey, Gunde, Ajuba Timbole. Oh, hey, Gunde, Ajuba Timbole. Hey, Gunde, Ajuba Timbole. Oh, hey, Gunde. Ajuba Timbole, Timburu, Gugu, Timburu, Timburu, Gugu, Timburu, Gugu, Timburu. Timburu, Gugu, Timburu, Gugu, Timburu, Timburu. So we have participated in remembrance rites of Akbar Gerard Robert Chancellor Smith of the AB Arisekunola, that is the special group he had belonged to as a member of the Orisha community. But as a human being, all human beings deserve burial with dignity. Doesn't matter what race, what creed, what class, what caste, all human beings deserve to depart the earth in dignity. So today, Gerard has been fortunate. Perhaps the only thing that I might be a bit sad about is that he was not able to acquire his name legally on the face of the earth. We left Africa, many of us, you know, some people thinking, boy, but died 400 years ago, 500 years ago. But some of us call names of saints and spiritual beings, either thousands of years old, and we have no problem with it. So that we left the continent of Al-Kibulan within the last 400 years. And this is where we come. And when we arrived here, you know, we need to recount these things from time to time. Many of us, there are some of us who came here free. And one particular community is in the Belmont area. And most of them are either Baptiste as their surname. So Shamin takes that into consideration. They are Baptiste. They are Antoines, and they are known in written literature as the Rada community of Belmont. But they are the Dangbicum community, and within the past 2 years, the elders of that family, after more than 160 years sojourn from the continent of Al-Kibulan, were able to go back to Dahomey, Benin annual Budum festival, and they met their family. And there was no doubt that was their family. People from the time they see them could tell them, we know who your family are and where you come from. So the one thing that I say that I'm sad for is that he wasn't able to acquire his name legally, although he acquired his name. And people say, our names are important. Well, let's look at Christianity. There was a tax collector, his name was Saul. But when he came into the fold of whatever Jesus Christ organization was, that was a personality, and if that is historical time and space, his name was changed from Saul to Paul. And there are many people, many spiritualities. I take Shahada, and my name is Ola, which my name is, and I take Shahada, I have to take the name of Abdul Nur, Servant of Light. If I become a Muslim and I take Shahada, I have to take an Islamic name as well. But if I joined some other spirituality, my name might be Krishnananda, you know. Names are important. Those in the modern Rastafari, we are saying, new name, precious name, new name, Jah Rastafari. So even the Lord thy God has a new name in a new time and in a new space and a new situation and new circumstances. So by the power and authority invested in us as the collective of the same lineage of Gerard, Robert, Chancellor Smith, and by all the extended families, our collective minds here together can do plenty. Many of us do believe that we have power, but we have plenty power. Collectively, there was a group of people in Trinidad, people, only black and chicken people in jail. That time they had a calypso. I don't know how much Trinidadians remember, the number. And one chorus is even Hindu priests and all raping girls or taking up girls. I believe that was the truth, but I was in prison at that time, so what? But I was in prison in that time. As far as I won my case, because it was a trumped-up case, I have found some pencils by me, but it's relevant to my spirituality. I'm a devotee. My Lord is a master of weapons, of guns, of cutlasses, knives, but of construction, implements, and instruments, and therefore I have one of the things that's relevant to me there. That doesn't make me a criminal. It's, in fact, it's spent shot, but spent shots in the law is considered ammunition. So at the time I went in, and at that time, even at that time, when I came, there were more people of other ethnicities in the prison than there were us at that time. People wasn't kind of say, boy, them always cheaper and be always in jail. And we use the power of spoken and uttered word like a mantra and say that every day until it became a reality. So we have the power today to utilize the spoken and uttered word to command goodness in our life, to command victory over counterproductivity, to command love for ourselves, to command love for each other, to command in an island, twin island policy such as ours. We came here, some of us, as a result of poor circumstances of what today would be called human trafficking and kidnapping. Plenty of us came here not even as human beings. We came here as property. In the United States, it became law that we were 3/5 of a human being. So today that we have the right under a politically independent nation to define for ourselves what is right, what is good, what is beneficent, and what is benevolent, declare as a direct consequence of coming to bid Gerard, Robert, Chancellor Smith farewell for a short while. Because, there used to be a popular Christian song, this earth is not my home, heaven is the place where the flame radio, right? So, but he's correct, it is not our home. So as about to bring the basket here for me, please. There are some things that we wish to send with into the afterworld. So we open the gates of Onile Bewao. So let's say with me, Onile Bewao. Onile Bewao. Onile Bewao. Onile Bewao. Onile Bewao. Oni Shile Kung Fu Wao. Oni Shile Kung Fu Wao. Oni Shile Kung Fu Wao. By the power of Ochi. Ochi is strong drink. But our tradition says that at the very moment we are engaging in ritual with Ochi, is at that very moment we are becoming prosperous. It is at the very moment we are engaging with rituals with Ochi, it is at that very moment we are becoming prosperous. It is at the very moment we are engaging in rituals with Ochi, it is at that very moment we are becoming prosperous. So open the gates of prosperity. In the ancient Kemet, when we left the earth, the way how some of these things, today we no longer have science. Long time they say we have high science. Today we only have such a belief and such a simile in the world. I saw somebody move their hand and they make you feel something. No. Spirit engagement is not even how well I present it intellectually. Spirit is beyond the intellectual. Spirit is before mind and before human intelligence. So as we engage this thing, let us transcend the limitations of the physical and mortal and corporal beings and put our spirit in the realm where as gate openers by our uttered word, by our uttered command, by our united gesture, that the gates will be open for him. All of us are more or less going to the same place. But to arrive at the place of sitting down, you have to be screened first. So here comes the airport. When you reach Pilaco International Airport, you have to pass the gatekeeper, take out your belt, put it here, your shoes, take off your cap, and they make sure that you're not loaded like as I am loaded now. Yeah. I loaded inside here, right? Because I prepared for everything. So you're loaded. But when you go inside here, even if you had spent $30,000 to go to Nigeria, but the plane for Nigeria at gate 9, and you went to gate 12, you're in trouble. Because you're going to announce passengers for Nigeria go to gate 12. So being in the right place don't mean you will board the right plane, arrive at the right destination. You have to follow the instructions. So we are now commanding that whosoever will come to meet Gerard Smith, because he took a kind of oath that said when he came into this fold, he was met by the elders. But when he returns, he will also be met by elders. And may those elders who meet him be beneficent. So you can say, that, or if you don't want to say you can say, Amen. But if you just say hallelujah, say that too. So when they come to meet him, may they meet him in peace. May they meet him in beneficence. May they be benevolent. And may the directions that they give him lead him to nobody else sitting down space but his own sitting down space. So a lot of people think that, okay, we treat corporal body in a kind of way like it means nothing. So be patient with me, because I do they say Gerard Smith like to talk. Well, I do think Gerard Smith like to talk as much as I do. So, so, he meet the right people when he came here. It's people who want to talk. And it is by the word was things that were trans-material became material. And those things are important things, even funeral, because if I had a name, I don't want to call no real name because it might be blasphemy. But if my name was something like Doljan Harcow, right? And I tell you this, you might have to pay me $20,000. But the trans-material at this point of time is that all things start at a certain level, at the level, but people have some ways of this talk and some limitations. I hope it. Things start in the level of ideation, as a thought in your mind. And if you know how to channel that thought by a process of discipline, you could make it reality. So, nowadays is why people borrow something from us and they call it creative visualization. But that creative visualization, we used to that, boy, I dream I want to be a pan. And then you start putting yourself with pans and with pan people play, and then you become a pan man. So I want to be a millionaire, but you're selling bottles. So now it have a science behind that. How much did they sell a case of bottles for? $24. How much case of bottles I have to sell to me? I have to sell 2,000. Then you know the discipline. Every month I have to sell 5 cases, 50 cases. So the idea of making things come from the realm of the visible, realm of visible and manifest. You and I, all of us here have the power to do that. And all of us here have the power to stop crime in this country. All of us have the power to make this country where the words utter blessings of this country, because we are words of blessing for this country, So I used to sing the national anthem at a time like this, right? I used to sing, when every creed and race find an equal place. Not here, creed, eh? When every creed and race find an equal place, then may God bless our nation. Because that's the condition for blessing. Even when things come from by the word of God. A fellow was told to go and get a message of destruction. This is biblical story. That the city go sink. Unless the people the city didn't sink, it didn't go into chaos, because the condition was, if they repent, everything will be all right. If they make the change way, if they change the attitude, if they change the perspective, today, I will be talking in the next language, Yoruba. But Malcolm X said to me, God, I'm a bad fellow to talk about. He's a Muslim, as Madikal Shabazuma Wadi. Yes, he's a fellow that stood up against oppression and against unrighteousness and against injustice. He demanded that Al-Kibulani's people, people of hue, people of color, people of your complexion, people with broad, thick lips and kinky hair, you know them judges and them that want to imitate you when they go to court long time on your locks to look like you feel righteous, right? So it is people like them who have told us that if you want to communicate to people, you must speak in the same language that they speak. It don't necessarily mean English. You see, some people, when you do something, if you tell them thank you, they feel, God, that person well polite. But some people, they tell them 1,000 thank you and give them a bouquet of flowers. They say that man in no culture said we thank you and even give you a drink of rum. I know long time tradition, some of these people, and some people might take it insulting, boy, you're giving the grave. But we don't have it today, so any of the grave diggers who would take that. But it have a meaning, because we just say it is for prosperity. So, in making this thing now, we're going to, Obala, anything you want to say at this moment on behalf of your brother? You want to play one last tune for him again? All right, so, the fella tell me everything on the inside here, so I'm going to try to do that. These were the ritual items that were used for him, and for those of us who know Obala, right? So just shut this little piece off for me, please. I just telling Obala something that belong only to other people will hear today. This is for BC. Those that eyes need to be blocked, that they cannot see things that you ought to see. We have already opened your eyes. We have opened your nostrils, because the frequency, the way things, if it was pixels per how there's plenty dots upon the picture, right? When you go in that plane, it's not the same way like that. So you're looking at something and you can't see it. So that is what it is. But some people, they see a spirit on this plane. But if your ears are open to your spirit, the spirit talking and you're hearing it. So we open his ears that we could hear on that plane. But we also open the thoracic sector and mouth. So it is by the uttered word is most things came into being. So people, they see a word. We have word, we had scripted word, but we also have uttered word. It's uttered word. So may he be able to utter in the next realm. And I'm going to finally close off with this little piece of saying. Some Hindus in that, very old ones, might know that immediately after breath leaves the body, there is a series of rituals that are done sometimes by the hour, but sometimes less than the hour by the breath. Some people also know that during that period of time, and this is no big mystery. If you're drunk, somebody could be drunk for 15 minutes and you come and you give them cardiac pumping and so on and things, and a little respiration, and they vomit out water, and they heart start to beat again on the back side. So people could be brought back to life from a state of death. So at a certain period of time, and for those, something I could tell you this, but you have to experience it yourself. They actually put the person to sit down in a place in Africa, and they could make them talk. And after a certain period of time, even when the burial is done, they could still put persons in certain offices when you reach the culture correspond to them. So there is power after life. There is power in life because it's life. So may you go well. May you go well. May you go well. The old prayers used to put two things in the afterlife. That is old, the book of coming forward by day and by night, meaning the Egyptian book of the dead. This is the key they used to pray for. When the person goes into the afterworld, they must find a so you need to be seated somewhere. So you know, when you hear, would you sit in the congregation of the ungodly, like someone? The sinners would sit in the, right? So you realize sitting is important. You know the place where we just meet, we always say it's called a stool. It could be a stool like a fixed stool, but it could be a stool where you're sitting down, right? Alright, so stool, we just leaving it as those things. Stools are important, sitting down important. The thing we used to pray for them. If you ever get a chance to read the book for yourself, and today, to take my word, I could be just trying to point a shoot and press here. Today, you could go on and find these things for yourself. Acts, Papyrus, Ebers, Book of the Dead, groups, and they will. Two things we used to pray for, that you will have bread to eat. So what about the white man interprets as bread, you will have food to eat, and this is the word now. Even though that wasn't the word then, what they described was literally beer to drink. Bread to eat and beer to drink. But it's not too far from a ritual that is take. Some people just take part in every Sunday. There is a piece of wafer, bread. And they drink something, maybe non-alcoholic, but it's called wine. Right? Bread and wine. We used to pray for bread and beer. May you arrive and sit in the seat, and may you be able to get bread. I see some people here, they make sure that you won't only have things to eat and drink, but you will have cannabis to get a good relaxation and sit under a fig tree and have a good meditation. May Orisha carry you well. Yeah, I think some people might still want to say anything here at this point. Akuzuru, you want to draw a piece of art for him, anybody? Alright, so, Mama latte, oh, mama latte, mama latte, oh, mama latte, mama latte, oh, akba waluche, mama latte, oh, mama latte, mama latte, oh, mama latte, mama latte, oh, yeah. Everybody finish here, right? So you could close, and we going down with. If they could rest roses inside, yeah. So some people roses to rest. Let's see if everybody finish. I don't know. Alright, so we go. Mama latte, oh, mama latte, mama latte, oh, mama latte, mama latte, oh, akba waluche, mama latte, oh. Be careful of the hole. Mama latte, oh. Mama latte, oh, akba waluche. When you're done, you put it on top. Although I would suggest you put a little bit, because I was working under the guidance. Some other two say she do like to throw that on earth. Yeah. Mama latte, oh, mama latte, mama latte, oh, mama latte, mama latte, oh, akba waluche, mama latte, oh, mama latte, mama latte, oh, mama latte, mama latte, oh, akba waluche. Parlez-vous patois? Parlez-vous patois? You know, we're not singing anything that is Mama is mother, latter is the earth, mother the earth. So we just asking the spirit of the earth to give us a little action. Oya wo ologborode ayagba ma wole. Oya o logborode ayagbama. Oya o logborode ayagbama wole. Oya o logborode ayagbama. Oya o logborode ayagbama wole. 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 Oya lode hariwo, oya lodo chakaloi. Oya lode hariwo, adupe chance chakaloi. Oya lode hariwo, chance we lode chakaloi. Oya o hariwo, oya lode chakaloi. Oya lodo, he's gonna go. Oya lodo chakaloi. Oya lode hariwo, she wanna come. No, the chakaloi. Oya lodo hariwo. Oya lodo chakaloi. Oya lode hariwo. Oya lode chakaloi. Oya lodo hariwo. Oya lodo chakaloi. Oya lode hariwo. Oya lode chakaloi. Wa danke mi yo. Moboya o. Worry oya. Moboya. Worry oya. Moboya. Worry oya. Moboya. Worry oya. Can't you pray? Following tomorrow, Gerard Smith is about to come to you. He has transformed from the corporal realm and he's about to enter into the incorporeal realm. One verse says that when we are giving him blessings at this period, he will meet with people in the afterlife that if they had 2 acres of land, they would willingly give him 1 acre. If they had $2 billion, they would willingly, without fault, give him 1 billion. Whatever they have, it is knowledge or goodness. She wants to come. That is a good party, you know what I mean? So, we only once in our lifetime we get to do this, you know? So, let the strength guide you. That is the Yeye Meso Batala. Oh, they're looking at the Jibichi, like the Yeye Meso Batala coming here. Right? So sometimes people didn't like Robinson, the man. But when he comes into a place, he's the president. You better respect the president if you ain't like Robinson. Yeah, man, so I do pray. So, everything finished here? So, yeah, whenever they're ready and they...
Cousin Jerry, we love you.
Yeah, Shane.
Because you loved us.
Yeah, Shane.
The cousins are here, everyone's here. We love you so much, okay? Just
No,
to
this is
the mother and daddy.
I share.
Uncle Sam, everybody.
I share.
You know, all the uncles. All the aunts.
Chukutukiri bibi ye mole kubode. Chukutukiri bibi ye mole kubode. Chukutukiri bibi ye mole kubode. La roye, la roye, la roya, la roye, la roye, la roye, la roye, la roya, roye, la roye, la. Chukutukiri bibi ye mole kubode. Yeah, money to walk. Hey, you could do, Some of the Trinidad custom and tradition, members of the family, normally when you have a child, I mean he must be big, they just cross them over more than one time over the face. And some people have a, make it a difference whether they're going from left to right or right to left. But if the family wishes to do so, somebody will have to be able to take the child on the next side so that they can cross the child over. But if not, it will have sufficient other things, don't worry. If not, it will have sufficient other things that you could do to cross the child. You know, this is just material, right? Sometimes people cross, you know, it's like some people just go and they get wet in water, right? They call it baptism. And when they're baptized, they're supposed to get the Holy Spirit. But because they didn't go in spirit, they only get the water, right? So it's not what you do on what it looks like. It's what it is what matters, right? So when we arrive to what matters, we will make it matter. I say, but it's like Black Lives Matter, right? I say, all right. Yeah, better than ever. So you know, I have nothing that I could give you to take a little taste with me. Huh? Yeah, you were right. So, you want me to take some of it? Sure that at least I could have a...
Yeah, what's it already?
Come here.
Yeah.
You too. I see you take one too. Yeah. So some people like to say from earth to earth. I don't know if you should say from earth to flame, the earth is salvation. So it's up to go. Yeah? If you want one. So they be given the straight. You keep thinking it's Ajo nile, kiawa wo. Ajo nile, 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 get it? Ajo nile, kiawa wo. Ajo nile, ajo nile, kiawa wo. Ajo nile, ajo nile, kiawa wo. Ajo nile, ajo nile, oh that's it. Kia, you can help me a little bit. Ajo nile, here we go. Ajo nile, kiawa wo. Ajo nile, yeah, ajo nile, kiawa wo. Ajo nile, ajo nile, kiawa wo. Ajo nile, yeah, ajo nile, brother outside. Is that two brothers outside they want to help me? I think it's three brothers outside they want to help me. Come and help me. Go ahead. Is that three brothers outside they want to help me? Come and help me. Three brothers outside want to help me. Come and help me. No, they want to come and help me. Come and help me. You know, if I quote one Quran, it says where people are doing good, enjoying with those that are doing good to do good. But when they are doing wrong, forbid them from doing wrong. So in case they are going wrong, come and help me. Come and help me. Yeah, the way to break the neck of the thing is at this current moment. Break the neck. You know Rasta man used to sing it. Dress up no love in a tenement, yeah. Too much, too. So, let us come and choo right here. Now remember, don't start next. Hey, Baba, Fumi, Baba, oh, Lord, oh, Joe, China. Baba, Fumi, Baba, oh, Lord, oh, Joe, China. Yeah, Baba, Fumi, Baba, oh, Lord, oh, Joe, China. Baba, Fumi, Baba, oh, Lord, oh, Joe, China. Baba, Fumi, Baba, oh, Lord, Baba, Fumi, Baba, oh, Lord, Baba, Baba. No, hello. She said she wants to pass it. Bolo, 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 mi emoja. Bolo, 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 mi pepe, ache. Bolo, 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 mi emoja, oh. Bolo, 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 mi pepe, ache. Bolo, 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 mi emoja, oh. Bolo, 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 mi pepe, ache. Bolo, 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 mi emoja. Bolo, 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 mi pepe. Bolo, 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 mi emoja. Bolo, 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 mi pepe. Ache. Bolo, 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 mi emoja. Bolo, 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 mi pepe. Ache. Bolo, 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 mi emoja. Bolo, bolo, bolo. Oh yeah, Bolo, 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 mi emoja. Bolo, 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 Sukuji, I mean, I know you're younger than that, but it's customary long time, right? Yeah, that's something pretty here, right? Don't mind you think it's the root in some way, but it's just customary that you do that because you play an important part, right? So that, in the future, anytime I need for that long time, you need to make sure that you have something to drink, right? No, not everybody is drinkers, but just whatever is symbolic. But essentially it's symbolic of prosperity, right? It might be prosperity rather than prosperity.
Yours one, Danny? Yours one? No. Danny,
You put that by the other.
It's how small it is, right? But it's symbolic. So prefer just to watch the eyes a little bit. Yeah? Efun, fu ire, fu AB, Gerard Smith. Efun, fu ire, fu AB, Gerard Smith. Efun, fu ire, fu AB, Gerard Smith. Somebody had a drink from this before I do anything. Danny, where Danny? Danny. So, as Oge uses his right and left wing to direct Ire and Ashe into my life, into my home, into my compound. And the other uses his right and left wing to direct Ire and Ashe and blessings into my life, into my home, and into my compound. So too all you ancestors that gather here to welcome Gerard, Robert, Chancellor Smith of the Arisekunola family, and by all the other names invested in him in heaven and earth. So too direct Ire and Ashe to their lives as of this day, of this moment, of this time and this space. Ajupre. Thanks. If I want it? I can leave one with him, but not this one.